down in a meal and realizing that more than half of the food on your plate is not real at all, but product made in a factory, packaged with sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats. Unfortunately, this is the reality for most Americans today. Most of us eat without thinking, yet research shows that the majority of our energy intake among United States adults comes from ultra-processed foods. I've spent time reviewing work published by scientific journals and research organizations, which all confirm the link between ultra-processed foods, poor health, and obesity. Today, I will first explain the problem. Most Americans are in increased risk for poor health, low energy, and increased chronic disease. The cause: Americans lack the dietary education and the capitalistic food pyramid that prioritizes ultra-processed foods over whole plant-based foods. Then finally, the solution: spreading dietary awareness and placing greater restrictions among companies that push these addictive foods. Americans are consuming far too much ultra-processed foods. Stated in a journal published by Elviser, research clearly shows that a rapidly growing body of evidence links ultra-processed food intake with poor diet quality, increased energy intake, and higher risk of diet-related chronic diseases. This means that ultra-processed foods directly connect to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and even some other chronic diseases. In fact, I conducted a survey with my own class, and I asked, have you ever tried eating more plant-based or whole foods? The results were telling. 57% of my classmates said they either regularly eat whole foods or do so for only a short period of time, while 43% said they sometimes consider it or just never even think about eating whole foods. This shows that even among people my age, many struggle to consistently eat healthier. This overconsumption has led to obesity rates to skyrocket in the United States. Publications by Elviser also point out that the time spent cooking has declined steeply since the 1970s, making convenient foods like ultra-processed foods, while fast food outlets and ready-to-eat meals dominate our environment. Now that we have revealed the problem, let's examine why the causes behind this widespread overconsumption. The rise of ultra-processed food is also driven by the food industry and economic statuses. An article published by Frontiers Public Health scholars noted that obesity is associated with the emergence of a food industry producing and marketing convenient, highly processed foods, and that the industry also often provides misleading perspectives on nutritional labels to children and adults alike. This has created what is now called the obesogenic niche, caused by the logic of capitalism, where profit motives encourage mass production and consumption of unhealthy, addictive foods. Urbanization and population growth contribute further. Publishings from the previous article says, for example, obesity, especially through reduced activity, has been linked to urban sprawl. In addition, ultra-processed foods are cheaper and more calorie dense. Noted in this research, this type of residential dispersal to low-density suburban settings, especially in North America and Australia, is linked to reduced walkability, disconnected street networks, and greater reliance on cars, which limits the access to fresh, minimally processed foods. This combination of convenience, corporate influence, and population dynamics has created a cycle where unhealthy eating habits are not just a personal choice. They are systematically encouraged by the environment around us. Now that we understand the causes of this problem, let's look at some of the solutions that can help Americans today. Government intervention is crucial. Articles published by the Ballard Brief Research Library shows that American government has the ability and power to alter foods produced and sold in America, and that these policies have successfully removed harmful ingredients. Education must go hand in hand with regulation. Americans need to understand the consequences of eating ultra-processed foods, and they need to learn how to prepare healthier meals. A different journal titled The Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology states that this can be supported by policies that sustainably modify the food environment in which people purchase and consume foods. Individuals can take action by slowing down and being more intentional about their food choices. Cooking at home using minimally processed ingredients and prioritizing whole plant-based foods is crucial. Even small steps can have a meaningful impact when combined with systemic change. Experts argue that no single policy is the end, and that the most effective approach is a combination of education, regulation, and personal action. Linking these solutions together can create an environment where healthy eating is an easy choice. In conclusion, I have shared my evidence about the overconsumption of ultra-processed foods that has become a serious problem in the United States, stemming from limited education, corporate influence, and urbanization. It's time to take control of what we eat, demand healthier policies, and return to real whole foods. After all, the U.S. News and World Report says food outlets are increasingly diverse, providing convenience or fast food with less need for preparing meals at home. We deserve meals that nourish our bodies, not just fill them. The power to change our health is in our hands, and now is the time to act.